How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you my reaction to the Joe Biden Shade Room interview. Now, first and foremost, before I begin, shout out to my man, Brandon Tatum. I saw he did a video on this. I did not watch his because I wanted a fresh reaction straight from the source. And if I were to watch his video, he has very good takes. And some of his takes may have found their way into my video. So shout out to him for doing it first, but I'm going to give my spin on it. And if you don't know what the Shade Room is, I'll tell you right quick before we get into the video. The Shade Room is an African-American and/or Black-centered Instagram page. I think they're the third most interacted with page on the entire platform, not just black, white, whatever. Third most on the whole platform, and they have like 18 million followers. So they are a very big deal on the Instagrams. They cover largely entertainment. They get into politics occasionally, but not really. Like, let's say a basketball player, Kevin Durant, has the coronavirus, they'll cover that. But outside of that, it's not too much politics at all, except for right now when they're interviewing Joe Biden. Now, the interviewer is named Judith Wandu. I think she is some kin to the owner, Angelica Wandu. That name does not sound too ADOS, but different story, and I digress. Let's get into the video right now and see what he says.
Roommates, we went to South Carolina and sat down with former VP and 2020 president candidate Joe Biden.
Why sing? I'm not sure what the singing is all about, but let's keep going.
He stepped into the Shade Room, so you know we had to ask some real questions. Something that became a very big topic of discussion last year in 2019. It was 400 years since slavery had started in the US, and people were thinking that, hey, America might give black people reparations. They might run us our coin.
Okay, let's pause right there before he even begins to talk. You know, there was a little edit right there because when she's talking about run us our coin, he don't know what's going on. This is an old white guy from Delaware, and beyond him just being old white man from Delaware, he's not really all the way there mentally. But beyond that, run us our coin. I'm not sure you could say that, Miss Judith Wandu from Nigeria, but different story. I'll move on.
I support us going out and doing the study that studies whether or not what is the nature of reparations.
That's hilarious. They always say study. You know, when they don't want to give you any kind of money, they'll say, oh, we're going to do a study. We'll propose a thing that will look into what should actually happen. But when it comes to the illegal alien, they'll say, open the border right now. We ain't doing no study. We ain't doing nothing. Open the border right now. Let them come in. Let them invade your particular community, black folks, and do whatever they want. But then when it comes to you and your monies, oh, we're going to do a study. We'll figure out what we're going to do later. Let's keep rocking.
And whether there should be cash payments, what should happen. But I know in the meantime, reparations means repair. You make up for what's happened. We know there's systemic racism in education. We know there's systemic racism in lending. We know there is systemic racism in housing. For example, if on one side of the street over here it's a white neighborhood and you have a house, the exact same house on the other side, which is black neighborhood, same exact house, same condition. The one on the black side of the street is going to be valued at less money than the one that's valued on the other side.
But he said that before. But is that true? How do you know that's actually the case? Okay, you have a neighborhood where you have one house on one side of the road, the other on the other side. How are they going to just be valued differently because the owner is black or white or whatever race it is? It doesn't make any sense. If you have both of the homes maintained the same, cared for the same, and they have some of the similar things on the inside, it'd be valued pretty much the same. The race thing is not really an issue.
You live in an African-American neighborhood, your car insurance without any violation, without anything having happened to you. Same car in another neighborhood, you're going to pay a higher insurance rate. It's wrong.
Okay, what if I got a sports car that's brand new off the lot versus an old jalopy? Wouldn't that cost a difference right there? This whole thing about race is not even true. This man's lying.
Because what it does, how do most working class and middle class people make it? How do they accumulate their wealth? Through their investment in their home. The value goes up in their home. When you deny people the opportunity either to buy homes and or to have homes where you can accumulate wealth by building up a nest egg in that home, you put people at a gigantic disadvantage.
Now, that 1994 crime bill that you wrote is being discussed 26 years later because many people believe that it resulted in the incarceration of millions of Black and brown people.
Now we're getting to it right now. Now we're getting to it. Okay, Shade Room, you guys brought up the crime bill. Now, I want to see how he responds to the crime bill. But a quick observation, this man appears to be 1,000 years old. He looks really bad. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shame anybody that's elderly, but he looks terrible. That's just all facts. Let's get into what he says.
We just want to know, what was your intention behind that bill and what does criminal justice reform look like for you in 2020?
Number one, years ago, that bill, you know who supported it? The Black Caucus.
Okay.
Every major Black city mayor.
This is key.
Every mayor who was African American. It also had the assault weapons ban. I was able to eliminate assault weapons. I'm the only guy that's ever been able to get that done. Thirdly, it also had, you could not have these massive clips where you can put 100 bullets in
Magazines, but go ahead.
one, hook it to one gun and you fire 100 shots. Nobody needs that. It's just done for murder, no other reason. Thirdly, it also contained the Violence Against Women's Act. And that's what I wrote, and it was very, very, very important to begin to try to change the culture of how women are treated in America. It had provisions in it. It didn't have increased sentencing in it. What it did have in it, which I strongly opposed to at the time in this big bill, was it had more money for state prisons. Well, I think I put in that bill drug courts, which meant that anybody...
So basically what's happening right here is that he's justifying the crime bill. He's trying to explain to her why it was a good bill. And he's saying, look, y'all wanted it, y'all asked for it, y'all supported it, so what? Ain't no apology for me or nothing like that. Now, Slick Willie, on the other hand, Bill Clinton apologized for the crime bill outright on TV, said, I'm sorry, we went too far, this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is saying, we did the right thing. And that's what it is. If you're mad about it, talk to your Congressional Black Caucus, talk to your mayors, talk to everybody else. Don't talk to me about it. Very interesting.
Somebody who's convicted of a crime that has to do with a drug should not be going to prison. They should be going to rehabilitation. 2% of all prisoners behind a bar anywhere are in a state, a county, or a city prison, not in a federal prison. I say this to every community I talk to, no matter what their wealth or how poor they are, that it's overwhelming in everybody's interest if someone, while in prison, learns to read, write, add, and subtract, or if they can't do it, learns a...
Well, how about we just do that in, K through 12? How about we get more school choice and stuff like that? Are you a proponent of school choice, Joe Biden? Or we gotta wait till we get to the penitentiary to learn how to do read, write, and arithmetic? What's going on with that?
Trade. When they get out of prison, that everything is wiped clean so that they qualify for Pell Grants, they qualify for federally subsidized housing, they qualify for aid, food assistance, etc. Right now, we know what happens? They get $25 and a bus ticket, and they end up under a bridge. What do you expect to happen?
Black women are 3.5 times more likely to die from childbirth-related issues than white women, and 12 times as likely to die in New York City.
Here we go. Now, this is going to be why you should support abortion if you're Black. She brought up New York City. Do you know that in New York City, more Black babies are aborted than actually born by a margin of about 6,000? So here's an example. In 2012, you had 18,500 abortions versus 12,000 live births. I mean, what is that called if you're killing more babies than you actually are allowing to be born? What are you doing? How can you say that you are a proponent of Black women when you're killing off Black women in the womb and you're killing off Black women's babies at a clip that's beyond what they're able to reproduce? It doesn't make any sense.
Than white women. And we see that this health system is biased against Black women. We know it's not just an economic issue because even Serena Williams, for example, she was in Beverly Hills at Cedars-Sinai Hospital, and the same thing almost happened to her. She could have lost her life because of a blood clot that was in her lungs. Doctors kind of dismissed her. Is there a specific plan to address these alarming childbirth mortality rates among Black women?
Yes, there are. Number one, so it's early detection, early health care. In addition to that is once you're in the system, that you are in fact having a system where they finally set up in California, where they track the success or failure of dealing with Black and white women. And so they are able to go back and say, the reason this is happening is because of boom, because of this, and change it.
Now, some of our roommates.
What kind of answer was that? I'm talking about weed right here. But what kind of answer was that? They could track it because of boom, track what because of what, and then what's the actual end result? That was pretty much a non-answer. I'm surprised they didn't talk about abortion, because that's where these kind of talks and questions lead to. Oh, we need more abortion, this, that, and the third. We don't need more abortion. We actually need much less abortion to keep more black people alive. But let's keep going into this whole weed conversation here.
Love weed, and they want to know why you don't fully support legalization.
When you talk about marijuana, everybody said Biden says it's a gateway drug. I don't think it's a gateway drug. I think we should totally decriminalize the use of marijuana, the possession of marijuana. Not only decriminalize it, if you have ever been convicted of anything having to do with marijuana possession or use, your record gets wiped clean. And by that I mean, you will legally be able to say if you were arrested and if you were put in prison, that guess what, when you do a job application, if you've ever been arrested or in prison, you can legally say no. When I say wiped clean, I mean wiped clean, and be entitled to every program that's available to help people move forward. This is where it gets confused. There are some scientists who say it may have an impact on mental health for some people. I don't think we should criminalize it at all, but we should at least study it. Science makes a difference.
Now, roomies, regardless of which candidate you want to win the election, just make sure you get out and vote.
All right, so that's pretty much it right there. Okay, that was a pretty short little interview. I didn't really learn too much. I feel like this is heavily edited. You saw a lot of the jump cuts that they were doing, heavily edited. They didn't really get down deep into what I wanted them to talk about. Abortion, they could have brought that up when talking about the whole infant mortality thing. I thought that was pretty much where that was going, but obviously that was not. The crime bill answer, that was hilarious, because the crime bill has been a thing that the black community has been upset about for a very long time, for years and years and years, since the 90s, really. But he's like, nah, look, we did what was right. Basically, no apology or nothing like that. So, I mean, you got to ask yourself, if you are going to go vote for the Democratic candidate in Joe Biden, are you going to support what he has done? Why did it take Trump to go that extra mile to fix the damage that the crime bill did? You know, Obama put some things in place that tried to fix it, but he didn't go to that next level. You know, Allison Reed Johnson could have been free under Barack Obama. She tried to get free under him, and he denied it. But you got to have Trump to come in and actually take up where Obama left off. But Trump is seen as somehow the racist and the anti-black person. I really don't understand. This guy, Joe Biden, wrote the crime bill, unapologetic, doesn't really care too much, said some merciful things in his past. If anybody is to be a racist, which I don't think Biden or Trump are, but if anybody were to be seen as a racist, it'd be Biden based upon his track record previously and also right now, and not Trump. But hey, it'd be interesting to see how the Shade Room audience takes this particular interview and how black folks in general take Joe Biden when they go to the polls in November. Are we going to see more support for Joe, more support for Trump? I don't really know, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think this was a good interview, bad interview? If it's bad, let me know why. If it's good, let me know why. I think that it was just kind of safe, just kind of real basic content, not really much there, like an air sandwich. It wasn't really a whole lot to it. One thing that I saw is how bad he looks. I mean, compared to the young lady, she looks pretty youthful and energetic, but he looks like he's a corpse. I mean, and it's not even the thing that I'm trying to make a joke about. I'm being dead serious. He needs to go ahead and just fall back, retire, get a guy in there that looks like he has a little bit of life left in him. Okay, he's pretty much on his last leg right now, and no interviews on Shade Room or debates or anything like that will make him look like he is any more lively. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I gotta say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.